Hey guys, welcome to 3 and Out. You can check out the podcast below in the description. And here's what I need you to do. Make sure you subscribe to the Volumes YouTube channel to stay up to date to everything we're doing here on 3 and Out and the Volume. Let's start with Tampa. And this isn't that complicated. Last year, Tom Brady, a big reason he won the Super Bowl was because he upgraded rosters. The team that we saw in New England in 2019 wasn't that good, right? They lacked players on offense. And then when he went to Tampa Bay, he inherited Godwin and Evans. They had Jones, but then they add Leonard Fournette, and they add Antonio Brown, and they add Rob Gronkowski. And they clearly, by the end of the season, the playoffs, just had a ton of weapons. You could argue, Evans and Godwin, like in their primes. I know Gronk's older. Leonard Fournette, the way he was playing, that's a high-level roster for Brady, even if you look back of his 20-year career. What we just witnessed against the Saints, that ain't it. He has no chance to beat good defenses with Evans getting hurt, with Fournette getting hurt, with Antonio Brown nowhere to be found. Godwin injured. All these injuries, he's not going to be able to overcome that. He is not Lamar Jackson. He can't run around, right? He's just not going to be able to do that at 44 years old. He's never been able to do that. But we've seen him in New England when they've had guys go down or injuries, it's a problem. That would happen to Joe Montana. That would happen to anybody. He was playing with some random guys today, and it did not go well. He struggled. The Saints got after him. Divisional games, they clearly have his number. The Saints clearly, and this happens in divisions. It happens a lot in college and conferences, right? Auburn is not intimidated by Alabama. Doesn't mean they're going to beat them, but when they play them, they believe they can beat them. The Saints, whether they're better than Tampa, whether they're worse than Tampa, when they play them the last 2 years with Tom Brady, they are not intimidated by them at all. Sean Payton does not view Bruce Arians as a superior. He does not view that team, even if he's got to start Taysom Hill, he thinks he can beat them. And they consistently do. And then when you take away all of his weapons, it's really not that shocking. But this was a big loss. They're not going to get the number 1 seed. Because the tiebreaker for number 1 seeds, if some of these teams end up with the same division, is conference record. And right now, Dallas only has 1 loss. If Dallas runs the table and Green Bay loses a game, Dallas will be the number 1 seed. If Green Bay runs the table, because they have 1 more win than Dallas, they will be the number 1 seed. So it's pretty clear. And Dallas plays, Washington, the football team. I think they play the Giants and they play the Eagles. Right? The Packers, I'm pretty sure, play the Bears, the Browns, and maybe the Lions. Their schedule's pretty easy too. The Bucs are playing in the first round of the playoffs now. They are. And honestly, there's probably a pretty decent chance that they're the 3 seed, which could be the Niners. And that's a whole nother conversation. But they just, with their injuries, Tom Brady's not going to win a Super Bowl if they don't get 90% of these guys back healthy. Because their defensive backfield already is injured. Their front 7 is excellent. They can stop the run. But they're not going to be able to score with a bunch of random guys we've never seen. They have to have those guys on the field. This is not breaking news. And right now, and I've heard Arians, they've had injuries all season long. We'll see what happens to Fournette, but they're going to have to, like last season, play 3 games to get back to the Super Bowl. And that's really difficult. It's very, very hard to do. Now, maybe it used to be the 1 or 2 seed historically always went to the Super Bowl. We only have 1 year of data. I do believe that's going to change. It's going to be more and more difficult for teams. I bet the 1 seed is just going to consistently go to the Super Bowl more often than not. It's just a much easier path. If Green Bay gets it again, there is no excuse for them to not go back to the Super Bowl. They have to win 2 games at Lambeau. Hell, I picked them last year. They let me down because they didn't play that well against Tampa. Is Tampa going to get there in the 3rd round? We'll see. They need to get healthy, and they need to get healthy fast. I tweeted this out, and it's, Twitter's a hellhole. But let's put this into context. My sentiment on Taysom Hill is he is everything that the Tebow truthers wanted Tim Tebow to be. Now, I'm not talking about as a quarterback. I watch him as a quarterback. He's not good. Neither was Tebow. But the difference is we always could Tebow be an H-back? Could Tebow become like Kyle Juszczyk? Could Tebow play special teams? And the answer, as Urban Meyer taught us, no chance on God's green earth. He don't want the smoke. He doesn't have that ability. Taysom Hill has been a role player on one of the better teams in the NFL for the last 5 years. I don't know truly what his position is, H-back, fullback, tight end, whatever. He is a legitimate NFL player. Every good team in the league would take him. They would not use him at quarterback. John Payton's obsessed with it. Right now, they have injuries or whatever, but he is a fantastic role player. He's everything that we wanted Tebow to be. You see how physical that guy is? I'd take him on my team in a heartbeat. Special teams, playing him on offense, using him as a gadget player. He's a stud. Now, you got to play him at quarterback? Hold on for your ass. But I think people try to diminish how good this guy is as an NFL player. I think he's fantastic. Again, as an offensive weapon, not as a quarterback. He's everything Urban Meyer dreamed of what Tebow would look like in Jack's camp. And then he was the opposite, and he couldn't do it. Hill can. Hill's running over guys, running through guys, tough as shit. I'm a fan of Taysom Hill as a role player, not under center. But Sean Payton proves again why he makes $15 million a year. They have no business. Jameis, 2 months ago or whatever, tears his ACL. I would have been like the Saints are going to end up 6-what's the new record? 6-11. They're 7-7. And more than likely, they'll get to 9-7. A little bit like the Steelers. You go, how are the Steelers doing it? You look up, they're 7-6-1. There is winning cultures that these high-end coaches that make $12, $13, $15 million, they're paid a premium for a reason because you know what you're getting. And like I said with Belichick, and we'll talk about him a little bit later, anyone can handle the good times. How do you handle adversity? How do you handle when guys go down? How do you handle when there's a quarterback issue? I see Matt Rule handling adversity. They're going to win 5 games. They suck. They're terrible. I've seen Belichick in his lowest moment in 2020. He went 7-9. You know what David Tepper would do to win 7 games? A lot. They're not going to sniff it. And I'm not even trying to pick on Matt Rule. A lot of coaches are that way. The high-end guys, they just win. Thanks for watching 3 and Out. You can check out the podcast below in the description. And make sure you subscribe right now to the Volumes YouTube channel.